Okay, I want to welcome everybody again. Welcome to another whoopsie daisy. Sorry, I got these weird advertisements that keep popping up. How you doing, guys? Welcome, okay, to another Blender video on Blender 2.8. Blender video. They're not all tutorials. If you learn anything from them, I'm happy. Some of them will be titled as tutorials if I'm showing stuff that I really know, you know. But most of this stuff is like I'm making models for my scenes, for my new animated cartoons and stuff like that, and comics. So yeah, I'm drinking some coffee. Hope you guys are doing okay. Yeah, so I do a lot of 2D. I do mostly 2D art and 2D animation, but I like to work on 3D as well. I don't know how long this video is going to be, okay? But it's another Blender video, and I've got a list of things here that I need to make, so we need to get on with those. In the last video I was kind of showing you just like how to manipulate objects, adjust their origin, points of origin, so you can manipulate them on those origins, how to parent objects together and create simple objects you can move, even like basic mannequin figures or anything like that, without even using any rigging and bones and armatures, skeletons and stuff. But I did go over how to do that too. I also covered the basic controls of Blender and things like that, and some shortcuts, and then going over the widgets and stuff. Some of them I covered quite a lot in that video, okay? And I showed how you can even take some images and take them into art software and draw over those too and use them as reference. So there's quite a lot packed into the last video I made, and I'm actually uploading it right now for you, called Basic Parenting and Object Manipulation Without Rigging. It's called a tutorial, Blender 2.8. Let's open up Blender 2.8 and right about now, and we're going to make a billboard, right? So let's make that billboard. As I say, you don't have to always move the you don't have to move the point of origin, but set it and stuff like different. But I'll show you the difference, okay, what it does do. If I quickly go to another angle, like a side angle here, using the widgets up here, which I also cover in that video, I'm just going to move it up to a certain point here, so it's on the ground level, let's say, this cube, okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of that by holding shift and pressing D, then pressing Y to move it on the Y axis, as I just simply move the mouse across. After left clicking, the widget will come up, whatever one it shows, should be the move tool, but then you can remove it again and adjust it further. Okay, from here now I'm going to take this first one. Okay, no, first of all I want to say this, okay, this little red thing here, this red and white little dot thing, let me explain again carefully. This is the, what do you call it, the cursor. I think it's called the 3D cursor. It's called the 3D cursor. Now the point of origin means that every object that we, like if I want to spawn an object, what the heck did you just say? Well, wherever that 3D cursor is going to be, which is usually on the point of the axis, right here, right from the center, where that X and Y axis meet, the red line and the green line. Blue being the up and down line, which we can't see right now, but if I go into a different viewpoint we can see it here. So right in the middle of those is where your object's going to be spawned. So if I move an object across, you can see that circle's still there, right in the middle of that. So if I go to add and go to mesh, we're in object mode, okay, don't forget. When you're in object mode, it's going to add objects that are separate from each other. What I've found, at least the basic thing seems to be, is if you're in edit mode and you already have one object selected, then if you can still add more objects, but what it will do is it will add them to that and join them together like one object. That's what it seems to be. It adds it like a part of the editing process to it, but if you're in object mode, it adds them as separate objects, and then you can join those the normal way, which is by holding shift and then left clicking on multiple objects, then holding control and pressing D to join them. So of course letting go of shift first. So I'll say that again. You click on your first object, hold down shift, press it and hold it, then click on the next object, so they're both selected. Now let go of your mouse button and let go of shift and let go of your mouse button, then press and hold control and press J, and that makes them one object now. They're joined, okay? Basically that's what the J is for. Holding control and pressing Z a few times will undo this, so undo our steps. Now going back, okay, let's say we're in object mode and I want to add another mesh, so I'll add a cone, okay, just for the sake of doing it. I'm going to add a cone mesh. Oh yeah, let's go. Okay. You can see that it's been added right on that point, and where that 3D cursor is, that 3D cursor, okay. So let's hold control and press Z and get rid of that. We can move that, okay. We can click on this, it's got a little icon for it. You see the icon here, the same. I can click elsewhere now, and let's go somewhere else, okay. And that is actually really high in the sky if we want about here. Please ignore that light there, okay, there's a light. Going back to the select tool here, clicking the light, deleting the light by pressing delete. I can also delete the camera similarly because we don't need that. And let's go back to this one. Okay, going back to that one. So that's there. Now if I go to add a mesh, let's add anything, we can add anything we want. I'll add the cone again. It adds it right there. If you want to get an accurate add-in, see, then we can use the camera angles here like this. I could go to the right angle here. If I wanted it, let's say right on top of this one, you know, I could, you know, probably move it right here, you see, something like that in the middle, more accurate as such, you know. Moving the camera now again, see, maybe I think, oh, that's too, let's say if it was about here, you see, maybe I want it to be like more on in the middle. So there, I can get it in the right. See, now that's not right, you see, from there, so I need to move the camera again. Okay, I need to be right in the middle. Okay, here. Now we've got it in the right there, in the right place, you see. So if I go hit that and add a shape, I'll add a sphere this time. It adds it right there. But what you're going to notice is the sphere is not actually resting on top of the object. It's gone halfway through. Because what you'll notice, okay, is if we undo a few times and undo what we had right from the beginning, now that is, okay, take it a few steps forward, so we're back with this, okay. So I'm here now. Well, this was originally, this cursor was actually about here, wasn't it, in the center. When you start a new program, that's not perfect, I don't have that perfect there, but when you first start the new project, I mean, your objects will usually spawn, they'll come into being from here. But what you'll notice though is every object, okay, like you see this, okay, let's say that these cubes are resting on the ground, aren't they, right? If I click on this cube now and if I try to scale it, look what happens. It scales from the top and the bottom, so now it's like not even on the ground anymore. If I go down, up, I want it to scale the top part, but what happens is this goes down through the ground. You see? And it's the same for rotating too. If I rotate this thing, it's going to rotate straight from the center. The point of origin, okay, is right from the center. So when I scale, it's going to scale from the center. When I rotate or when I move, it's all going to be done from the center. So let's say I've got this thing, okay, on the ground, this cube, and I want it to scale just up when I move it up, okay. There are different tools for doing that. In the edit mode, I can do that. I'm not going to cover them here. There's a couple, such as extrude. You can use the extrude tool, or even better, you can use the shrink and flatten tool, basically by clicking a certain face and then moving that in a straight line. But the thing I'm trying to say here is, if we want to just scale the object, then what you're going to need to do is basically position the 3D cursor. I think a good thing to do would be to go into wireframe mode by going up here and choosing from your view mode. Go to the wireframe one, okay, and it's going to be X-ray as well. It has to be X-ray. I think it works better. Go to X-ray, okay. Yeah, so we can see that bottom plane as such, right? So now, I don't think you have to really, but let's just do it this way, okay? God damn it. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to move this point of origin by clicking on the origin thing. I'm going to set it up as in Z on the keyboard. Then I'm going to move that right to that point there, but you can see it's already, you know, wrong because it's like it's not on the ground. We need to put it on the ground level. So you turn the camera around a few times so we get that center of every, on the green axis and the red axis and also the Z axis. Okay. But it's still hard, it's really hard to do because you need to put it about there. You need to move it manually sometimes as well and turn the camera and get it just about there. Let's just have it there for roughness, right? Okay, so that's on the bottom, that's on the ground level right now, more or less. So if I turn it back to normal view now, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to not move that cursor, but we're going to make sure we have the select tool here, the arrow one here, make that selected, select the object, and I'm going to go to object. So go to object, set origin to 3D cursor, and click that. Now when I scale it, it should scale up. So yeah, okay, it scales from that point more or less, you see. Okay, and it's just, the center is still on the center, you see, in the middle, because it's still in the middle of this object, you see. That's why it's scaling both sides, but as far as the bottom goes, it's just going to scale up. See, like a building there, as such, you see. If I was to move the 3D cursor now to about here, let's say, okay, let's say here, okay, then maybe you'd have a different thing. So I can again click the object by, so you're choosing the select tool, then clicking the object, then go to object and go to set origin, object, set origin to 3D cursor. Now click away, or click on it with the scale tool, start moving. You see it's gonna, it only goes either side of that. See, when I move, and it's only going to go up as well, because it still goes down a little bit. The reason being is because I didn't get it exactly on the bottom, you know, bit there. But as I say, if you don't like any of those methods, I'm just going to hold Control and press Z a few times. See, okay. What you can do is, as I say, hold on. What you can do is simply go. I'll show you quickly. Go to edit mode. We'll use either one. We'll use this one. Choose that. So choose the object first in edit mode, in object mode, then go to edit mode. Go up here and choose one of these up here, be it the vertex, the dot point, or the edge, being the lines, the edges that make up this thing, or the faces. Click away and then click the edge, the face you want to manipulate. So we'll manipulate this one. Now go down, scroll down, and it's not the green ones we're looking at, it's the pinkish purple ones. This one that says shrink and flatten. Okay, there's one that says push and pull, and there's one that says shrink and flatten. If you left click and hold, you can choose one of these, but we're just going to choose the normal one, which is shrink and flatten. I can literally pull it on that axis, you see, pull it across. Okay, there. I can click another face now, or click away and then click another face, either way, and I can do the same thing. So it scales it on that way, and I think this is a much easier way of doing things. Okay, we can only edit one object when it's in edit mode. There are ways of editing multiple separate objects, apparently. I'm not too sure. And it's the same with sculpt mode as well. You can only sculpt over one object, or edit one object. And the reason is for safety too, so you don't accidentally mess up the other object. Even if these objects are all part of one larger object, before you decide to join them or do other things, this is a good thing, you know, to know. If I go in that, if I go to, so if I want to edit this object now, I need to click out. I need to go to object mode and then choose that object. You see, and then when I go in to edit mode, it will do that. So I can click away and then click individual faces and choose what I want to do. I can even use the basic stuff like the sizing, scaling tools and things like that, you see, or things like this, you know, or I can press A and that will select the whole object. If I was to do that in object mode, if I were to press A, it would also mean all, A meaning all, but it would select all of the objects. But because we're in edit mode, it will only allow us to edit one object at a time anyway, meaning, so remember, you need to left click, select the object first in object mode, then go to edit mode to edit that object, or sculpt mode to sculpt that object which you selected first in object mode. So every time you want to switch in, to go back to object mode. There are shortcuts and stuff, but I prefer just going up to here, the same as I prefer using these widgets. But going back to what I was saying, in edit mode, so if I wanted to choose the whole thing, I just press A, it selects the whole object. So from here I could, scale the whole thing. You can see we didn't move that point of origin. We didn't set the point of origin to a 3D cursor set to a certain space, so I'm having to literally manually move it now into place, but that's okay. I'm going to just do something here. I'm going to bring this up, I'm going to rotate it, okay, do a few things, change it about a bit, boom, okay, I'm going to put it right in the wall there. I'm going to then click out, go to object mode, and then I'm going to hold, that's already selected, so I'm just going to hold shift and left click on the other one. Then I'm going to let go of everything and press and hold control and press J to join them. Now this is one object. Now if I want to edit the whole thing, I can, because it's one object. I can go into edit mode here and it will select all of that. It's weird how it's done that. I don't know what's happened there, but if I press A, it still selects everything, all of it, okay? I can do different kinds of edits now and sculpt or whatever I want to do using the different tools available, okay? You can use different things such as the bevel tool, which gives you all kind of weird looking like shapes and stuff like that. Can you up the level of the bevel here like this to make rounded shapes and click off things like this. Can we get rid of? Go into object mode quickly and get rid of this light. Just getting on my nerves. And the camera, because we don't need those unless we're going into rendered views and different views and stuff. Again, I can right click on that, left click first to select it, then right click and press shade smooth, and it will shade it smooth and nice and smoothly there. If I don't want to do that, I can still go back to flat shade, shade flat, but shade smooth is there like this. So many things you can do once you go into edit mode. I could select a single face like this, and I could choose the inset faces tool and bring some different kind of shapes in like this. That's not perfect there, I know, but I could do all kinds of stuff like that. I could select individual faces again like this and this, and I could maybe use the extrude tool, also like extrude region or extrude individual, bring them up like this, do different kinds of things. Again, if you're not happy with the look of it, you can click away and also go into things like object mode again, right click and just go to shade flat just for now. All kinds of stuff. Go back into edit mode, go to loop cut, and when you hover over the object, the loop cut's very cool because you can go into different shapes there. And once you click, it will set itself to the center usually, but once that's set, like for example here, you can add more, or you can just go down to here to the number of cuts and up those number of cuts here, see, and then once that's done, just click back on the select toggle here, click away, and that's done that. You might say, well, why is that useful? Well, it is useful because you can click faces, individual faces, and I could select individual faces like this, or choose these certain parts. Okay, I'm not going on the inside, I'm just going on the outside. I just want to do it this way just to show you quickly, and I could then go back and I could go to like in extrude, maybe like you got different ones here you can choose, like left clicking and holding to get this extra menu, and then go into extrude along normals, and if I click and drag, you see it will pull out in different kind of shapes. That isn't working exactly how I imagined it to. I thought these would be joined up. Sometimes things are they just appear different. Sometimes you've got to work it out, click an individual one there, do a certain shape from here. Now with that face is selected, I could go back to the size tool, scale tool, and shrink that down if I wanted to do that on different axes and stuff like that. You can rotate as well, don't forget. I can choose this one, I can still rotate and stuff like that. Probably not the best thing to have done actually in this situation, but you know, you can just showing you what you could do. Okay, you know, what else can we do? We can cut, obviously, spin, smooth. I don't know what smooth does. I'll press A and select the whole thing. For this, in this situation, I'm going to just move it. So okay, oh, it does that. Okay, so changing everything a bit. Smoothing, repeat. Oh, I can press repeat and do different kinds of shapes. Wow, that's so cool. How weird is that? Some robotic eye or something. I can press A to select all, then right click and go to subdivide, and that will give me more polygons to work with. I can also up the number of cuts, keeping in mind the more you have, you may have more detail to work with, especially if you're sculpting and stuff too. But like if I up it a lot, say, but it's going to slow down your system sometimes. I could go to here now. I can go back to object mode. I can still adjust the shape and stuff like that. It looks like some weird robotic eyeball camera thing. I could also, you know, of course, duplicate it, hitting shift and pressing D to duplicate. Now I'm just going to press red to move it on that red line. The red is moving it across here. Stick them together like that, and then I can. That's already selected, so I'm going to go to the select tool anyway. Hold shift and left click on that one. Now let go and hold down control and press J to join them up as one object. Now they've got a lot of subdivisions. If I go into up here and I go down to sculpt mode, you can see I can sculpt all over. This has got quite a lot of detail in it, see already, so I can do a lot, you know, right there, you know. Okay, so you know, you can up the level of the I don't know why I'm not seeing my what I'm looking for here. There's certain things that I'm not seeing, like the strength of the strength of the what do you call it, the buttons and stuff is just not showing for some reason. Sometimes they will, I guess. It's kind of really strange actually, but you know, the sculpt mode it shows up. That's okay. In sculpt mode it will show. If I go to sculpting here, so you can do that. I think if I was to go back now, it'd also work. So I can up that. See, when you're sculpting too, by the way, you can also go in and hold down control and then press the button, and it will do the opposite of your sculpt tool, whichever one you're using, like here, such as like inflate or blob or whatever you're using, different kinds of tools, you know. And as I say, you know, if you're not getting that much detail, or you're not seeing hardly anything happen when you're rolling over them, the reason is probably because you don't have a high enough number of subdivisions. So remember, when you go into edit mode and right click on your object, first pressing A to select all, then right click, the object will turn yellow, and you need to go to those subdivisions and up the level of the subdivisions, put it higher. But you just be careful how much you do, you know. But so that's what I'm basically trying to say to you, okay. It still doesn't look very smooth, does it? So if I go back into layout mode, I could maybe right click now and go shade smooth. I'll right click, see, and go to shade smooth or shade flat. You can also do other things like subdivision surface modifier. You can add on the modifiers here and this blue wrench thing, but I'm not going to bother doing that here now. It seems good enough to me, you know. And all this is done here. Don't forget, we're in solid view here, and it's object mode. If I go down to if I go up here to like rendered view, the main best one, like, you know, you're going to see it's going to be pretty dark now because there's no lights or anything. Okay, it's going to become pretty dark, right? But I can go to add and then go down to light, because I deleted my point light and my camera earlier on. There's different kinds of lights you can add and adjust. So I've added a light there. I can move it also using the same tools and stuff, same kind of way. I can duplicate things as well if I want to. You can adjust the features of the lights, like the brightness and stuff as well, by like going in over here. Look, follow my cursor here on the right, and just go in and up the power. Just type a number, some crazy number in, or whatever you want. That's crazy, right? It's here, moving it about. See, in the scene. Okay, change the colour of it, obviously, like red or whatever you want. Okay. So I'm just doing different things. So I'm going in, and again you can do different things like add reflections and stuff. Like I can go in here, I can go to these render options. If you go up here, okay, look at my mouse here, this second one down from the spanner thing, just choose bloom, turn the bloom on, go down to screen space reflections. These two I think are really good. Alright, just remember those two, bloom and screen space reflections. Now clicking on the actual object itself, I'm going to just go I'm going to go to the textures here, so the material. Just hover up, there's two red ones at the bottom. It's the round one, okay, not the checkered thing, but the round one here, the checkered round one, and go here, and I'm just going to basically change the base color of this, because it's currently just white or grey sort of color. Okay, I'm going to change it to like another red colour or something, or blue, whatever. It's got a yellow light shining on a blue thing. That's what's giving it a bit of a purple look. Okay, purple kind of look to it. I'm going to just go to adjust these things. I'm going to turn the roughness all the way down. See how shiny it's becoming now. Turn the specular up. Can play with the metallic if I want to a little bit as well. I don't want to mess with that. And you'll see it's very shiny. Click away elsewhere. If you don't want to see the grid all the damn time, the grid and these toggles, just simply you can click them off over here at the top here, these things. I can also go to the world settings, this red thing here, click on that, and then turn the colour right down to very dark, just so I can show you here, and that looks better already. Yeah, these reflections, it's not perfect, I'm just showing you a rough thing. If I zoom out, can't even see where the light is, right? So I'm going to turn the toggle on up here again, these toggle things to find my stuff, the lights here. I'm going to move it up close. We've got that bright bloom, that shining bloom as well, don't forget, and all of the shining stuff going on. Okay, you can do some nice little effects. This video may not be coming out in the best quality, as I say, and my computer, as I say, is not the best one out there as such, you know what I mean, quality wise, but it's like it's alright for what you want to do, you know. I can do some stuff with it, and yeah, you know, I'm just moving and adjusting the lights and stuff. Okay, I can go back into turn those off, you know. I can click on that again, duplicate and stuff. I'm just making a couple of copies here. I'm going to quickly rotate that now. Turn on the toggles, just quickly turn it. Just turn that. Making a rough scene just really quickly. Move my camera around, see? Made a duplicate of that. Okay. And there you go. So just making some basic stuff. And if you want to do more, you can, as I say, turn these on quickly. I can go to add mesh plane, and then just press S and press 100, then press enter. You got that now, a floor in place. I can also change the colour of that by going down to the material tab at the bottom here, clicking on it first. Oh, we don't actually have one selected, so I'll just add new. Just click and press add new, and then I'll just change the colour of it. Okay. Okay, like a bluish colour, whatever. Okay, and adjust that. Adjust the shininess as well if I want to do that. The roughness, turn the roughness all the way down. See, specular right up, and then you got this, some shine to it and stuff. It looks a bit fuzzy, as I say. My computer is really not the best quality one. As I say, it's not the best quality computer, I say, but you got something you can work with, you know. And again, you can bring this into different art softwares and do kind of stuff. But is that cool, guys? I hope you've enjoyed this video. Simple little video. It wasn't gonna be a tutorial at first, but I decided to make it into a kind of tutorial thing there on some more basics. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed this though. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed it. Yeah, you know, just have some fun, getting creative, making some scenes and stuff. You don't have to have the shines up all the way either, and you can adjust certain things too in this. You know, I'm going to stop this one here. When you're modelling and stuff, it's better to go into just solid view, just solid mode. Okay, it works much faster, so you can just work with your shapes and things. You can build up your scenes, turn those toggles on as well, so you can see what you're doing. You know, just do different kinds of things. You know, just move it all around and copy things quickly, and just move stuff around. You know, whatever you want to do. Manually just moving stuff into place, and there's your crazy little scenes you can make a little crazy village of caves or whatever, I don't know. Draw some little people on there climbing up the strange mountain cliff tops or whatever it is, draw on top of it, you know. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.